Welcome back to Newcomers Elective, Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations. Last episode, this girl's milkshake brought all the boys to the yard, and this episode, we're gonna find out more about her. Let's do this.
Madam? I'm no one's grandma yet, girly.
What I witnessed. I'd been planning to go back to Feeney's place after class was over. They were talking behind the building. Let's press this.
Are you saying that the victim just collapsed on his own?
Yes.
In other words, the defendant never touched the victim. Is that right?
I was watching the whole time. Feeny never did a thing to Dougie.
If I press her for no good reason, I just know the judge will get angry with me. So what should I do about her testimony just now?
Contradiction.
Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we?
What? I would never!
Objection! Miss Fair, will that allow you to badger this witness? I believe the defense is engaged in an efficient expedition. That is, she has no supporting... Please don't glare at me like that! I'm just doing my job!
Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did, in fact, push the victim.
What?
There's no need to try to cover for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth.
There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything that you saw.
Yes, Your Honor. I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony.
Looks like we're finally getting somewhere.
Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie.
You didn't see the moment he pushed Doug, huh? Well, I have this testimony, which is incorrect. I remember what it was. It was this. This is a Phoenix testimony. Da-da!
You say you didn't hear any noise. Is that correct?
Yes, that's why I was very relaxed, looking at the scenery around me.
That's nice, but I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and he clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise.
He said that?
If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well?
Objection! Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable.
Objection! But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression.
May I have a moment to answer?
By all means!
I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on, and I was listening to music at the time.
Headphones? You mean that both of your ears were covered?
The rain was just beginning to let up. But it seems as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble.
Thunder and lightning, huh?
Yes, I'm afraid of the sound of thunder. So I put my headphones on to block it out.
Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there wasn't any contradiction in our testimony after all.
Wait a sec, Mia. That testimony just now. She said something that could totally change this whole case.
There was lightning!
Your Honor, there's a problem with the witness's testimony.
What do you mean?
Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct?
And she also said it was very, very frightening. That is correct. Yeah, so what about it?
Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere. Am I right?
Now that was not the time for a science lesson, Miss Faye.
Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning?
Ah! I must admit that the thought had not occurred to me.
Just what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy anyway?
Beardly ones, Miss Faye. Beardly ones.
This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt.
It appears the defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental?
Alright, you did it, Mia. I'll be taking that not guilty now if you don't.
Objection! I'm hurt that you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Faye.
Huh?
I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. We found that there were no lightning strikes on the day of the location.
What?
What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case.
Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what is this evidence?
This affidavit,
And who is this affidavit from?
the pharmacology students that were reporting their experiments in the lab that day. Allow me to read out the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All of the equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden around 3 p.m. that day.
Was it a blackout?
All of the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor.
So you're saying the equipment lost power because...
Precisely! They lost power because of the severed electrical cable! The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m.
Which fits with the time of the death listed in the autopsy report.
Exactly! In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable! According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future.
I see.
Apparently, the cables have become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break.
Student's testimony added to the court record. However, there is one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct?
Well, I suppose you could say that.
Miss Faye, do you have any thoughts regarding the case of the severed cable?
Your Honor. I don't like how this is looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion.
Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break? It was, once again, safe state, the... crap, what was it? This one. It was the umbrella. You can't present the umbrella for some reason, but you can present crime photo 1.
This is it. This is why the cable snapped.
Well, Your Honor.
Never mind, it's not
Hey!
cable 1. Whoops, crap. You didn't see that. Alright, it was... maybe it's in testimony.
Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony.
A defendant's testimony?
He said that after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this happened at around 3 p.m., correct?
Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that...
The lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits right in Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage.
Yes, the prosecution also came to that same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted.
Objection! I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne.
What's that supposed to mean?
Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right. The victim banged into that pole as a result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break.
Well, that makes sense, and then the victim was electrocuted.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, it doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by the severed cable in the foreground here.
Ah!
In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim.
Order in the court.
Ah, the lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them.
It's true, the defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any way the defendant could have done.
Mr. Judge, sir, may I say something? The Madam Attorney's explanation. She said some things that are a little different than I remember them.
What the?
Please, just once more. May I please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge?
Of course it's all right. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony.
This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors.
What I witnessed, part 2.
The truth is, Feeny pushed him twice.
So after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away.
And that is when the defendant pushed him for the second time.
I'm so sorry, Feeny, but I just have to tell the truth. Am I doing the right thing? Am I, Mr. Judge?
Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Fay, you may proceed with your cross-examination. What I witnessed, part 2. Feeny pushed him twice. First time was an electrical coil, the other one was when the cable broke, and then he tried to wrest his run away from them, caught up and went and crashed behind. Cable snapping, it all occurred in less than a minute. That is crap. Also because of Phoenix's testimony. Okay, not because of Phoenix's testimony, then because of this student's testimony.
That's enough, witness. You will in a minute. Could you please take a look at this picture?
Oh, that medicine. That's the one Feeny likes to take for his cold.
It's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. It stopped at the precise time the victim was electrocuted. In other words, 3:05 p.m.
Yes, and your point is, Miss Fay?
My point is this. What time was it when the lab suffered that power outage due to the cable snapping?
Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer is clear. It was 2:55 p.m. Yeah!
Would you care to explain to the court, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? What exactly happened during this 10-minute interval? The defense proposes that it was during this interval that the real murderer killed Mr. Doug Swallow.
Order in the court. What is it?
This is nonsense! The real murderer?
Objection! Even you can't deny that the time between the cable breaking and the electrocution are completely unaccounted for.
Objection! Then who was it? Who was it you're saying could have done it?
There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Only after my client had left the scene. Was there a window of opportunity for the real killer?
Miss Faye, is the defense ready to indict someone as a real killer?
It's finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor. We are ready.
Very well. But remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized. Think very carefully before you speak, Miss Faye, or the beard will destroy you. Now then, Miss Faye, let's have it. Who is the real killer? Swear to God if you say the beard. Da-da-da-da. Da-da. Da-da. Winston Payne. No, just kidding. It's Dahlia.
It could only have been you. Dahlia Hawthorne.
Objection! The defense is grasping at straws!
10 minutes passed between the time the cable broke and the time of the electrocution. What exactly were you doing that whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Were you really listening to some music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find it hard to believe that you didn't lift a finger to stop the men dearest to you.
Order! Order! Miss Faye! What? Why? Is it to say...
Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the two men fighting on that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands.
How can you say something so mean, Madam Faye? I didn't do anything.
Miss Faye, this is a very serious... Your Honor! Please, I have something I want to say. You! What is it? Please, please strike everything the defense said just now from the record.
What the? Are you daft?
You're totally wrong, Miss Faye. Dolly, she couldn't do something like that. Mr. Wright, get back in your seat. Bailiff, grab that man. Leave my Dolly alone.
That boy. He's gotten himself in way over his head.
Oh, Mr. Grossberg, you're back.
It seems I've arrived just in the nick of time. I found the police report on that incident in your newspaper clipping.
Police report added to the court record.
Thank you so much. This is exactly what I was hoping for.
You better take a good look at it. It details how you came to lose your boyfriend.
Now then, the defense has made a very serious accusation. Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, really, Your Honor,
May I interrupt you for just a moment, Mr. Prosecutor?
Don't you worry, my dear. I have this situation well in hand. That is, you're in ahead.
Madam Faye, are you seriously accusing me of killing my sweet Dougie?
Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Phoenix Wright.
Objection! I told you that you should let me handle this. Sorry, but please go ahead.
How can you say that? I am absolutely devoted to my dear Feeny. The notion that I would try to frame him is ludicrous. This is all just too much for poor little me to bear.
I believe the girl is asking what on earth her motive would be.
The answer to that lies somewhere in this police report. It must. 8 months ago, an incident occurred in the basement cafeteria of this building. And then, that same day, the two of them accidentally meet. Your Honor, the defense requests further testimony from Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Further testimony? What about?
About the events of the day when she first met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Objection! What could that possibly have to do with this case?
Objection! The witness claims that she has no reason to frame the defendant. Am I correct? Well, I have evidence that suggests that she, in fact, had a very good reason.
Very well, then. The court grants the defense's request. Young lady, would you mind staying on for just a bit longer?
Of course not, Mr. Judge.
Get ready for the battle of your life, Dahlia Hawthorne.
How I Met My Feeny.
I first met my darling Feeny 8 months ago. It's like we were destined to meet in this very courthouse's basement reading room. The moment our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. We've been going out ever since that fateful day.
We're so lovey-wovey, we literally make people sick. It's just jealousy, I think. Oh, give it a rest, Phoenix. Mr. Wright, do that again and you'll be held in contempt of court.
And now we enter the final act of our little drama.
As we used to say in the days of my youth, go get her!
Let's see, you met your darling Feeny 8 months ago. It's like you were destined to meet in the Berry courthouses, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what were you doing in that reading room?
The courthouse reading room. That's a strange place to meet the love of your life.
That's not true, Madam Faye. After all, Feeny was not only an art student, but he was also planning on becoming a lawyer.
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you, Miss Hawthorne. What was a literature student like you doing in a courthouse reading room?
Objection! This line of questioning is a waste of time. It has nothing to do with our murder case.
Miss Faye, I'm warning you, if this has nothing to do with Mrs. Swallow's case.
I have to remember the judge is on Dahlia's side. I'd better tread carefully.
Keep pressing.
Your Honor, if you'll allow me some latitude, I think I can establish relevance. Please ask her to continue on with her testimony.
Very well. Young lady, I've got a simple question for you. What were you doing downstairs in the courthouse reading room?
If it pleases your honor, the answer is simply this. I had come to this courthouse to do some research for a paper I was writing.
Now that is crap, because we have this police report.
Miss Hawthorne, you weren't here because of your research paper, were you? Didn't you actually come here for a much more important reason?
Objection! What is the meaning of that cocky smile on your face, Miss Faye? I don't like it.
8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse, there was another tragedy.
Another tragedy?
Do you mean the incident in which an attorney was poisoned?
The name of the suspect in that incident is listed here in this report. And that name is... Dahlia Hawthorne.
What?
Dahlia Hawthorne?
Yes, the sweetie pie of everyone's eye, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. She was the prime suspect in a criminal case just 8 months ago.
Order! 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 This is unbelievable! It's true then, the loveliest rose can hide the...
Objection! Miss Faye, that's not fair! You can't slander my witness in a case like... I, Winston Payne, will not allow it!
Mr. Prosecutor, I believe I was speaking.
Ew, pardon me, go right ahead.
It's true that about 8 months ago, the police expressed some interest in me.
Express some interest, huh?
Mr. Judge, sir, I know I'm under oath, so I'll tell you the absolute truth. I did not commit the crime that occurred during that incident 8 months ago.
I see.
Okay, I've tied the two crimes together. Now I've just got to stay on the offensive.
Well done, Mia. Oh, you've really lit a fire in my heart. And my buttocks. I can hardly tell which is more inflamed. My spirit? Or my hemorrhoids?
The poisoning.
I met the lawyer who was poisoned to discuss something in the cafeteria that day. I left my seat for just a moment, and that's when it happened. From what I heard, it was a liquid poison that is lethal at just 2 teaspoons. Not only that, I heard that it was a very special kind of poison. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't even know where to get a poison like that.
We'll have to find out next episode. Rate, comment, subscribe, favorite. See you guys next time.